Welcome back to Fallout New Vegas, and welcome to House Resort, so basically Camp Grove. So, last time I believe. Oh, yeah, let's put some volume on. Last time we started to do some investigations for Sergeant Reyes at Camp Forlorn Hope. Because, well, she's been getting rather odd, let's say, communications from ranger stations which don't really make a whole lot of sense. And then when we talk to the rangers themselves, they're calm officers. They deny any kind of uh, they denied sending those messages. And so now we're just kind of trying to, find out what exactly is going on here. And right now, kind of our only lead is that because all those strange communications were signed by Chief Hanlon, who is the kind of the highest ranking ranger. This guy over here. Who? Oh, okay. Well, let's talk to him. Let's see if you can. Let's see if you can. If you will see anything. If you will hear anything familiar about his voice.
Back west, you don't see too many of these. Lakes, I mean. Natural or man-made. Any kind, really. We neglected the dams or pumped all the water out a long time ago. Owens, Isabella, San Luis drained the aquifers of everything they had. Just a lot of mud and dust now. Different feeling watching the sun come up over the water. Takes some getting used to. But if you're here long enough, it starts to seem normal. That's what a ranger's life is now. Looking east. You must be the courier folks have been talking about. Word on the radio is that someone wronged you back in Good Springs. The Mojave has a way of burning decent people up. But it sounds like you've done right by the NCR. It's appreciated. Now, what can I do for you?
Guess that was his way of saying that because we have a good reputation. So, do you ever stop talking? There's a lot of stuff we could chat to him about. Okay, well, in case you didn't recognize the voice actor for this guy, it's actually none other than none other the famous singer and I guess something of an actor to Chris Christopherson. Yeah, that's a they really got a lot of like they got some star power in this game doing voice acting. So I'm impressed. Tell me about the other Rangers.
I could tell you a lot if you had the time. But at my age, I'm not sure which of us would get tired first. What do you want to know?
So why are the Rangers here?
There's a lot of answers to that question, but it started with the Ranger Unification Treaty. We weren't always the only show in town. Nevada had its own posse, the Desert Rangers. They fought Caesar even farther east out in Arizona. Years back, we met with the Desert Rangers at Mojave Outpost and agreed to help them against Caesar if they would join the NCR.
Well, what is it that the Rangers do?
Well, there's what we're supposed to be doing and what we're actually doing. There's a big gap between those two things, about as wide as that lake out there.
That was kind of a way to avoid the question. Okay, so what are you actually doing? Oh, okay, go ask about both of them. Well, okay, start. Okay, start with the theoretical. Okay, so what are you supposed to be doing?
To protect against all forms of tyranny. It's simple as that. 30, 40 years ago, the wasteland was full of despots, slavers, raiders. tough-talking hoodlums with gangs who like to kick around towns. Back then, the NCR military was still young, couldn't cover much ground. It took groups like ours to tip the balance back to the good guys.
Okay. So how about what are you actually doing?
Sitting on the shore of Lake Mead, looking east, listening to a radio, trying to not get too many people killed. I'm too old to be slapping leather, but I had hoped for something else. More than this,
I guess you're like, kind of like a little Billy. Just want to sit back and smoke your pipe, drink a coffee, and watch the sun go down. Well, I bet you have some good stories to tell.
Suppose it depends on what you think's good. Most folks want to hear about Hoover Dam and Boulder City, but it's a long story. If you want some tall tales about hunting down slavers or busting up gangs, talk to one of the younger rangers.
Well, there must be something good the Rangers have done that you're proud of.
Kind of a long one, but all right. About 25 years ago, a group of NCR settlers pushed way south into Baja. I guess it doesn't seem so far now if you look at a map, but back then they were out of ways. They built this little shanty town around a well in the middle of nowhere. Called it Rattletail.
Oh, continue.
Word got back to one of our stations that raiders had been attacking the place. I went out with 6 rangers. We must have been on the trail for a week before we got to Rattletail. We lost one woman to night stalkers and another almost died of dehydration. When we reached the place, it's 6 shacks set up around an old well.
Okay, continue.
There's over 24 bodies lying in the dunes way outside of town, and 5 men with .308 rifles crouched behind sandbags. These bodies, these people out in the sand, they aren't raiders, aren't even heavily armed. They're just people who were trying to get to the only well in 50 miles. I didn't have to talk to the men to see that they did not care one bit.
Okay, what then?
They had planted an NCR flag over the well. They would not budge until every last one of them was laid out, dead and cold. So I walked up and told them there was a group of raiders coming, 100 strong. I made up some cockamamie name for them and everything. The men looked at each other, looked at us, and asked me what we were going to do about it.
Okay, what happened next?
I told them we would take them back into NCR territory because we'd already lost 10 Rangers on the way out. 10 Rangers, 5 men with .308 rifles. Well, that was enough for them. They packed up what they could, and we took them back north. Last I heard, they settled somewhere in Anza Borrego. Raised bighorners. Had some tough times, but it worked out okay for them. So there you go. That's my one bit of good.
I wonder if that's like anything, if that somehow relates to any of the earlier games, especially the first two, because I haven't really played them, so I don't really know. Well, anyway, so what happened at Hoover Dam and Boulder City?
In big battles, Caesar deploys his legionaries in waves. Recruits up front, prime soldiers behind the recruits, old guard bringing up the rear. Opponents wear themselves out dealing with the first 2 waves, if they survive that long. When the veterans step up, there's not much fight left. Caesar can adapt, though, and when required, he can run any mix of legionaries as skirmishers and still retain order in the ranks.
Okay.
Joshua Graham, Caesar's old legate, he wasn't so flexible. When the Legion attacked Hoover Dam, General Oliver ordered his troopers back to the middle ground just after first contact. Graham pushed all of the legionaries onto the dam, filling the east side with recruits up front and veterans in the back, by the book.
Little does he know that we actually met the guy.
But once they were in, they were stuck there. Oliver's troopers were entrenched and wouldn't give a foot. That's when we ordered the Rangers and the 1st Recon sharpshooters to start picking off veteran Legion officers from a high ridge west of the dam. That only lasted about a minute before Graham ordered the back ranks to push through to the front and rush the ridge. Caused total chaos among the younger legionaries. Oliver's troopers fell back to the side walkways and stayed out of the veterans' way. By the time the veterans got to the ridge, we were already in Boulder City. They followed us down there, but we were out before they realized what was happening. We had packed the old city with C4 and dynamite. Crude, but it did the job. Those who didn't die in the blast were in no position to mount a defense. The ones left on the dam didn't know what to do. The troopers routed them. Graham pulled the remaining legionaries back, but the battle was over. He went south, back to the Grand Canyon, back to Caesar. That was the last we saw or heard from Joshua Graham.
Okay, let's talk about something else.
Shoot.
So, what's the Legion been up to?
Not too long ago, they took Nelson and Searchlight. They got some camps on the eastern shore of the Colorado. A monstrosity on the hill across the lake. That's for Caesar. Some folks don't believe he's here yet, but you can tell. He's the eye of the storm. It all roils and spins around him. You don't have to see the man to see the effect he has.
Tell me about Nelson.
Nelson was barely set up. We had a big stretch of unprotected land between Forlorn Hope and Searchlight. Nelson was the solution. A deaconess named Dead Sea took the place and caused a lot of damage.
Okay. What happened at Searchlight?
Searchlight was worse. One of Caesar's Frumentari must have found something in there. Flooded the whole camp with radiation.
Oh, nasty.
Shoot.
So, what's your take? How is the NCR doing here?
It's no secret we've had better campaigns. Holding this whole length of river isn't easy. Stretched thin and the long 15 just keeps getting longer. Slow to get supplies, slower to get reinforcements. NCR's Senate has got funds tied up at the boneyard. President Kimball ordered our most experienced rangers to chase ghosts down at Baja.
Huh? What's going on in Baja?
It's complicated. Goes way back. I told President Kimball that we need more rangers here. He accepted that, but took the most experienced ones and sent them south. Patrol rangers are good men and women, but we're about to fight a war.
What about the troopers?
You've seen it yourself. Some of them don't even have proper service rifles or armor. Our heavy infantry, power armor units, they're back in NCR territory protecting the interests of Brahmin barons against small-time raiders. Brahmin barons only have one vote at the ballot box. They have a lot of money to throw around.
Money makes the world go round and round. So why are the funds tied up at the boneyard?
Senate elections are coming. Local representatives don't want to push any more funding to the Mojave campaign because it's unpopular. Most of the folks around the boneyard haven't been to New Vegas and probably never will. All they know is that their money gets sucked away to this desert and their brothers, sisters, sons, and daughters die here. Shoot.
What do you know about Caesar?
The best of the best, worst of the worst. He came out of NCR, one of the followers of the apocalypse. Like a lot of the followers, he went out in the wilderness with a partner to try to help those who needed helping. Not much different from how the Rangers used to be, except with books and medicine instead of guns.
Where did he go?
Out to the Grand Canyon. He met a missionary from Utah, a man by the name of Joshua Graham. Graham helped translate for the followers and the tribes. All three of them got nabbed by the Blackfoots down there, back when they were still at war with every other tribe in the Southwest.
Well, how did the followers wind up becoming Oh, how did a follower wind up becoming Caesar?
Somewhere along the way, he realized he needed to educate the Blackfoots or they were going to get wiped out with the rest of the tribe. Showed them how to use guns, how to make explosives. Once he taught the Blackfoots a thing or two, they needed him. And he no longer needed the followers, NCR, or anyone else. He decided he could remake the tribes of the Southwest whether they wanted it or not. He became Caesar, and Joshua Graham became his legate, his right hand. That's where Graham stayed until Hoover did.
Are the Blackfoots part of the Legion?
Yes and no. The Blackfoots don't exist anymore. Just like any other tribe that gets swallowed by the Legion. Caesar takes the tribal out of the tribe. Scrapes and burns off tattoos, breaks up families, forces mixed breeding so all the old loyalties die away. The only tribe in the Legion is the Legion. Caesar is the chief, father, and God, all rolled into one.
So what happened to Graham after the Hoover Dam?
Losing the dam was the worst defeat the Legion ever suffered. Graham had been with Caesar since the beginning. He had to set an example. The Praetorians covered Graham in pitch, lit him on fire, and down into the Grand Canyon he went.
So that was the end of Graham? As if we haven't actually met him.
It's not that clear cut. You have to understand, Graham was the toughest son of a gun anyone around these parts had ever seen. Before Hoover, we had 5 kill reports on Graham from Rangers and 1st Recon sharpshooters who tried to take him out. Some folks think he's still alive. Call him the Burned Man. Shoot.
Um, so, tell me about yourself.
Folks around here call me the Chief, but Hanlon's just fine. The Rangers run themselves pretty well, but I try to lend a hand. Mostly administrative work, helping coordinate intel on the radio. That and keeping an eye on the fires growing across the water.
He sort of has a very pleasant voice, so that's also one of the reasons why I just want to chat to him about all these topics. What fires?
Legion fires. They burn high wherever the Legion goes. Caesar's a hard man to figure out, but he always wants you to know when more troops are at your front door. Shoot.
Well, I'm investigating some intel problems for Technical Sergeant Reyes.
Interesting that she would wrangle someone else into sorting out the problem. But I suppose you're in the right place. A lot of intel comes through here.
Well, do you know anything about the problems?
I don't know Technical Sergeant Reyes, but coordinating intel can be messy sometimes. Things get mixed up, people get confused. Heck, I get confused, and I've been doing this for a long time now. What he or she sees as a problem might be standard operating procedure. That's not to say Reyes is wrong for being concerned, but it's easy for the sand to get in your eyes out here.
Well, can you give me any advice?
Well, the logical thing to do is to check with the patrol rangers and comm officers. Don't be too discouraged if some things don't match up. Different people see different things, and sometimes the meaning gets twisted, lost in static from person to person.
Well, how do you coordinate the intel?
It's a simple system when it works. Patrol rangers radio intel to ranger stations. Comm rangers send the intel up the station chain until it reaches Camp Golf. Then I or one of the other rangers on duty organize the data, evaluate it, and send information to camps or troopers in the field.
What if the ranger station sent intel directly to the troopers?
Com rangers might have an incomplete picture of the situation. There's a lot going on out there. Intel needs to be coordinated through Gulf so we can verify and advise appropriately. Troopers have enough to deal with. We don't want them questioning their intel. Shoot.
All right, Chief Hanlon. I think it's time to cut to the beef of the matter. So, listen. I know you're the one who's been manipulating intelligence data.
Hold on. If we're gonna have this conversation, let's go somewhere more private. Don't worry, not much bite left in this old dog.
Coffee. Hey, you forgot your coffee. Let me grab that for you. Did you already? Some. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, it's a big save before actually, Yeah, I think.
Should have brought something.
Yeah, you should have. All right, let's close the door. Get some privacy here.
We won't go quiet. Legion can count on that.
Sorting and manipulating intelligence is what I do. It's what Rangers are supposed to do. This job isn't all gunfighting and gulping shots of whiskey, no matter what the boys and ladies out there say.
But you're inventing your own intelligence reports. I've seen the logs and talked to the Rangers.
You have you? Misdirection. When you're pinned down, outnumbered, 2 days from any help, it's just about the best friend you can have. Misdirection's what saved me all these years. What saved us at Hoover Dam. It's been 5 years now, and Caesar's right across that lake. He's closer now than he ever was before. I was a young man once. I know what it's like to want to fight for your home. But this isn't it.
Why did you do it?
It's never going to end. This fight with Caesar. People back home don't know what these young men and women are in for. The Legion is the worst enemy we've ever faced. We can't stop Caesar here. Not without getting a lot of good people killed. More than anyone cares to count up. But even if we do stop it, I don't see how we're ever going to be able to pull out.
But aren't you fighting for the people of New Vegas?
We're fighting on their behalf, but Mr. House and the families are stringing us up inch by inch. They'll drain us dry while we fight and die over this dam. We offered them sanctuary in NCR territory before, but they won't listen. Troopers and Rangers have been dying here for more than 5 years while the families sit pretty behind that. Oh.
Well, how does spreading false intel help anything?
People back home don't listen. They don't care. Senators, Brahmin barons, folks who are just trying to make it from day to day. It's been so many years that people forget about it. Conscription brings in fresh troops that die here every month, like it's routine. And even if we hold this dam, what then? Are we going to send the NCR's men and women to die here for another 5 years? 10? Patrol the whole length of the Colorado for hundreds of miles? Holding this dam. It'll be the death.
But what does that accomplish?
Creating fear and instability among the troopers without causing harm. It's the only thing I could think of to shake things up. It took some people getting killed to realize I'd gone too far. Had to stop.
Now, what do you reckon? What do you think I should do about this?
First thing that comes to mind is to turn me in. But that might not be the best play, all things considered. Even if your heart's in the right place, I reckon it might do a lot more harm.
Well, I'm willing to hear you out. What will you do? Suppose that I don't turn you in. What are you going to do?
Oliver can't stand that Rangers got credit for victory at Hoover. Whatever I recommend, he does the opposite. I said I wanted us on the ridge. He put them right on the western part of the dam itself. We don't have enough firepower to hold that spot. If the troopers fall back, and they will, the Rangers will advance to cover Oliver's retreat. We lose the dam. Oliver and the center are ruined.
What about you and the Rangers?
Rangers are volunteers. Every man and woman who signs up is willing to die for the NCR, myself included. A lot of this is my fault. It's only right that I stand with them.
You know what? I think you've convinced me. Your secret is safe.
I don't know if you're working for Caesar or if desperation's made me a heck of a lot more persuasive. Either way, this is the right thing to do. Now, I trust we're done discussing this. I'm going to step through that door and pretend like we never had this talk.
Right. Yeah, and I would just... I mean,
Morning.
the way that I see it, I let him pass a speech check on me. But I like Chief Hanlon. He's
Aw,
just
just when the standing around was getting exciting.
he's just such a cool character, Where is he going anyway? Like he's leaving. Hmm? Yeah, I guess that officially finished the pressing matters, huh? Well, I think with this one, I'd rather just wait until I have like enough of those star portal caps, because then I can kind of I can kind of handle this and then do the star portal cap quest like at the same time. Uh, Lucky old son. Huh? Restoring hope. So, let's save the game at least. Now, today I don't have a whole lot of time to play this game. I have some places to be. Oh yeah, there's actually another little side quest that you can do in here. So,
Morning.
Sergeant McCready. McCready? Wasn't McCready the name of in Fallout 3 the name of the mayor of that what do you call that? That settlement that is basically just all kids. Mm, I don't remember the name of the settlement. At least like off the top of my head, I don't remember the name of that settlement. But I mean, anyone who's played Fallout 3 knows that place because you kind of have to go there. But anyway, I think that was on McCready.
Ah, hell. What is it now?
Well, how'd you end up at Camp Golf?
I've been here since the first push into Vegas. Back in the day, this camp was the hotspot for conflicts with the Legion, Raider tribes, you name it. These days, I spend most of my time trying to beat a little discipline into the soldiers under my command. Gotten soft with no action.
Funny. I thought this was where they sent all the washouts and losers.
Yeah, well, somebody has to wrangle those washouts and losers. Somebody's got to turn them into a real fighting force.
So, how do you like serving in the army?
Man, it's my life. I joined up when I was 16. I don't know how to do anything else.
You joined at 16 and you're still a sergeant? Wow.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to get promoted out of the field. I didn't join up to drive a desk.
Well, that sounds to me a little disappointed in your troops.
Disappointed. We call them the Misfits for a reason. They're undisciplined, lazy, and they have absolutely no esprit de corps. The squad leader's got some promise, kid named Mags. But as for the rest, I don't see much hope. I'm going to make them shape up if it kills me, though. Or them, for that matter.
Well, maybe I can help you to whip them into shape.
You're welcome to try. Hell, maybe they'll listen to somebody they don't see as an authority figure.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, whatever.
Flags of our foul-ups. Well, what's... Well, I guess we'll just talk to them in the order that we find them.
I'm assuming you aren't associated with the Army or the Rangers. What can I do for you?
So, how'd a guy like you end up in the army?
It's a simple idea. The Army offers fiscal security and generous benefits at the cost of substantial personal risk, if you're on the front line. If you perform too poorly, they'll scrub you out. Perform too well, you get sent to the front lines. All I have to do is ride that mediocrity gradient to a cushy, do-nothing job miles away from the war.
Yeah. That's genius. Tell me about yourself.
To what purpose? It's highly unlikely you'd understand anything I'd say. Suffice to say,
Oh,
I'm
you're
a
an
certified
asshole,
genius,
okay.
and when I'm discharged from this pit of testosterone and failure, I'll have all the money I could ever need.
You're a genius. So, I'm assuming you're in charge around here?
In a strictly official capacity, no. However, as I am by far the most intelligent and resourceful figure on this base,
Of
I
course
feel
you
it's
are.
safe to say the soldiers here look up to me.
So, that's a no then.
I suppose if you must stick with your narrow, parochial view of in charge, then yes, it's a no. Are we done?
Sergeant McCready asked me to talk to you about getting your squad in shape.
That seems highly illogical. What reason would he have for doing that?
He thinks you might, he thinks you might respond better to someone who isn't an authority figure.
This is an unexpected variable. I had hoped to coast on an easy wave of mediocrity to a cushy government pension.
Guess you don't feel so smart now, huh? Well, maybe I can help out.
And how would you propose accomplishing such a goal?
Well, occurs to me I might cheat.
An intriguing proposition. Company readiness reports are logged on the computer systems at the resort. If you hack the system, you could alter our records. Such an attempt, however, is likely to thwart efforts to motivate the squad to do actual work. If such is your goal, you should look elsewhere.
Maybe I'll ask around a little more instead.
As you wish. I'm sure the optimal solution will become apparent to you in time.
Well, true. And the funny thing is, with those gradients that you just mentioned, that's also a way to find that optimal solution. Just something for you to think about.
I somehow suspect you'll be back to converse with me later.
Well, let's just see about that. Hey there, big fella.
Y'all sure are a big old hero. I gotta write my mama and tell her I met you.
So, how did you end up in Camp Golf?
Well, as it turns out, we had a string of bad harvests a few years back. Pa said he couldn't afford to feed but 3 youngins or we'd starve. As the biggest one, it was my job to go join the army so's my sisters could eat and so's we wouldn't all be killed by raiders and Jesus would love us. It's all right, I guess. I don't like all the fighting we gotta do, though.
Why are you so afraid of fighting?
I ain't scared. I just don't like hurting folks is all. Ma always used to tell me, boy, you're the biggest and the strongest, so you mind yourself. Every day she told me that. Guess I done took it to heart.
So, what do you think of Camp Golf?
Oh, it's a fine place. The lake is real pretty, and we don't get bothered much by them Legion fellers.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was born on a farm out in California. Weren't much. Me, Ma, and Pa, my 2 sisters, and about 40 acres of corn and Brahmin. Didn't ever have no problems, really, except for some lean years. Then I joined up and got shipped out here to New Vegas.
Okay. What can you tell me about your squad mates?
They're mostly pretty nice. Poindexter showed me how to make fireworks. Raz kind of scares me sometimes, but I don't mind. He's had a hard life.
Right. Well, Sergeant McCready asked me to talk to you about getting your squad in shape.
To me? I'll tell you what I think this squad needs. A little more basic human niceness.
What do you mean?
Folks just don't talk to other folks. And everybody's always cross with each other.
So you think I should find ways to convince the Misfits to get along?
That'd be swell. Only if they knew the idea came from me, they probably wouldn't take you serious no more. So maybe you ought to think about it first. And I sure hope you're more convincing than I am, or they ain't gonna listen.
I'll ask around first.
Whatever you think's best. Toodaloo.
Yeah, so obviously all these different Misfits, they're gonna have their own ideas how to solve this situation.
Oh shit, here comes the brown noser. What do you want?
Well, what's with the mask? Are you hiding your brown nose? So, why are you in the army?
Shit, man, it was this or the Fiends. And Fiends don't last too long in the NCR. At least this way, the badasses with the top shelf guns are on my side.
Well, I mean, Fiends actually do have some pretty good weapons. Yeah, especially they actually quite often they seem to carry energy weapons. So, can you tell me anything about Camp Golf?
What do you want to know? Whole place used to be some kind of rich bastard resort back before the war. Now the Rangers use the whole resort, and we grunts get to live in tents. Fucking typical.
So, what's your story?
Ain't much to tell. Grew up out west in the boneyard. Heard of it?
Yeah,
Not
I
many
did.
people have. Wasn't really a good place for kids, you know. I joined up to get out. My family's still back there.
Well, do you know anything about your squad mates?
We don't talk too much, mostly. Poindexter's a smart ass prick.
I noticed.
Well, Hanrahan's a big pussy, ain't good for shit in a fight. And Mags? Well, Mags is cut out for something other than soldiering. You dig?
I try to avoid digging. I don't like manual labor. Sounds like a bunch of winners.
Whatever. Not like I need any of them. I do just fine on my own.
Sergeant McCready asked me to talk to you about getting the squad in shape.
Yo, I'll tell you what this squad needs. A healthy dose of angry juice.
Angry juice?
Psycho, the big red one. I used to run with the fiends. I still got the hookups. Smuggle some in and you'll see an improvement.
Second thought, I'll talk to the others first.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Right.
Wow. The big celebrity down here with the common troopers. What can I do for you?
So, how'd you end up assigned to Camp Golf?
Easy. This is where they send all the fuck-ups and people they don't want. But hey, it's not like I'm bitter or anything.
Oh, of course you're not. So, why'd you join the army?
I guess I wanted to make something of myself, you know? Be the best of the best. I wanted to be a ranger, but guess this is as close as I get.
Well, just be happy what you got. Tell me a little about yourself.
Not much to tell, really. I grew up in New Reno, joined up, took my shot at being a ranger, didn't make it, so I'm stuck with this crew of jokers.
Ah, that's a nice... that's a charming place. Well, how come you didn't make it in the Rangers?
Gee, I don't know. Maybe because I'm saddled with the worst damn unit in the NCR Army. Think that might have something to do with it?
I'm pretty sure they choose the Rangers to, according to personal performance, not the performance of your unit. Sounds like you aren't too fond of your squad mates.
Yeah, I mean, no. They're okay people, but they don't care, you know? They don't have any ambition, no drive. They're slacking off, and that reflects badly on me.
This place doesn't seem so bad.
Please. Camp Golf is where they shuffle off anybody they don't want anymore. Assignment here is a career ender.
Sergeant McCready asked me to talk to you about getting your squad in shape.
He did, huh? Well, good luck with that. You'd have an easier time teaching radroaches to march in formation.
I'm sure that's something we can do in Big Mountain. A new line of research. maybe even get ourselves a little doctorate there. It can't be as hard as all that. What needs to get done?
Well, if you ask me, what we really need is to get this whole squad out on the practice range, shape up our marksmanship and explosive skill. I'm sure the others have their own ideas, though.
Yeah, I think you need about 50 in both of these skills to really kind of make this solution work. Never mind.
Okay, I'll be here if you come to your senses.
If you have maybe about 15 like guns and 50 explosives, this is like then basically like teaching these sort of basic skills of soldiers. I mean, his solution is probably the easiest and the quickest. Oh yeah, I don't think yeah, we haven't even been to Red Rock Canyon yet, so let's see. Oh yeah, well, I mean, his solution, the hack the terminals in the main building and kind of falsify their records. You know what? We'll do this.
Y'all sure are a big old hero. I gotta write my mama and tell her I met you.
You know, I thought about what you said about basic human niceness.
You did? Does that mean you're gonna help?
I mean, because we don't have enough gun skills to kind of like have these guys to actually like practice in the gun range. So yeah, okay, I'll try to convince them.
Okay. Toodaloo.
Well, Poindexter,
Hey.
you're right in the sense that I am back here and talk to you, but not in the sense that maybe you thought.
You've managed to become extraordinarily well-liked by the top brass.
That is true.
You should exploit that for your own gain wherever possible.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. Exactly. Going back to those squad improvements, I had an idea. No, no. Well, tell me about yourself.
To what purpose? It's highly unlikely you'd understand anything I'd say. Suffice to say, I'm a certified genius, and when I'm discharged from this pit of testosterone and failure, I'll have all the money I could ever need.
Are you in charge?
In a strictly official capacity, no. However, as I am by far the most intelligent and resourceful figure on this base, I feel it's safe to say the soldiers here look up to me.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Well, since you're so respected, maybe you can help get this unit into shape.
You're trying to appeal to my ego.
That is right.
I must admit, it's an effective tactic.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll help. But only because I want to see if it's even possible.
Oh, it's possible, all right.
I somehow suspect you'll be back to converse with me later.
I very much doubt that because we're now because once we're done with this quest, I don't think I'll be talking to you guys anymore. Let's see. Hey, brown noser.
Oh shit, here comes the brown noser.
No, you're the brown noser. You're the brown noser. So what's your story?
Ain't much to tell. Grew up out west.
So why are you in the army?
Shit, man, it was this or the fiends. The fiends don't let. At
least.
You
Kill me.
want to know? Whole place.
Hmm?
We don't talk too much, mostly.
Well, that's charming. It's good to know team building is alive and well.
Shit, maybe you're right. Guess I ought to give him a shot.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think finally you.
Wow. The big celebrity down here with the common troopers. What can I do for you?
Well, you can let me talking you into, being nice to your squad mates.
Yeah, I mean, no. They're...
Well, maybe if you try to lead them by example instead of tearing them down.
You really think so? Hell, I guess it's worth a shot.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure, see you around.
Okay, let's... Oh, I'm going to know him again.
Y'all sure are a big old hero. I gotta write my mama and tell her I met you.
Well, how's that human niceness working out? It's like instant results, but it's the way the game works.
Boy, the squad sure is working together a lot better now. I think we're gonna be A-okay. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo. Yep. Yeah, I mean, just talking to them, that's generally speaking the easiest way to. But yes, because you do need like a speech of 40 too. With speech of 40, you can kind of talk them to be nice to each other, and then, well, that's right. Da. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of stuff. It's kind of a. Camp Golf. All right. Camp Forlorn Hope. Yeah, I guess we'll just return to Camp Forlorn Hope. Can we talk to you?
Hey, what did Chief Hanlon have to say about those false reports we uncovered?
Let's not rat out Chief Hanlon. I mean, because the thing is, if we tell her the truth, she might be hard pressed to kind of, to uh, you know, let the other top brass know about this. Yeah, when everything's resolved, Handler found a Legion. It's now resolved. We found a Legion spy at Camp Bluff.
I knew it. I'm glad you and the chief were able to put a stop to this.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I guess there's not like an actual consequence. I don't know what would happen if I told her the truth. Anyway. Alright, I'm kind of running out of time here. There's not a whole lot left, and, well, it's not really enough to really do anything, you know, substantial here. So we'll just call it the quits now. When we come back, we'll talk to Major Palathi, and we'll obviously stage an assault to Nelson to liberate it from the Legion. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time, and goodbye.